everyone. Welcome to another episode of REI Behind the Scenes. My name is Diana Lizarazo, and today's guest speaker is Paulina Bokiej. Now, every Thursday, we host an episode of either REI Behind the Scenes or Transformation Time. And now, before we get started, I want to share some news, two things actually. I want to share about my application. It's a social networking platform that helps transform the way you work. If you're a real estate investor, a real estate mentor, or a real estate investor professional, you're going to want to be a part of this application. And if you're having problems and you need support, this is the place to be. You can share the problems you're having and we can mastermind, and there's so many experienced investors there to help you, experienced mentors, investors, everything there, that they can help you get your things solved. And that also being said, because people are still struggling, we are doing another episode in 2 weeks. It's going to be Elizabeth, Kelly, and myself, and we're going to be helping you solve the problems, help you mastermind on a live on Instagram. And so if there's some problems you're having and you want some different minds, different perspectives on how to solve the problems you're in, send me a DM and send me a DM with the problem and we'll be discussing it live. Now back to the show. Our guest speakers are real estate investors, and they're here to help you by sharing their journeys, their projects. So we'll be getting to go through what kind of project they're doing, what the numbers were like, and our favorite part is what the problems were, how they solved them, and if it were something new, what they would do differently next time. So let's get Paulina on. Let's send her some hearts. Let's send her some likes. Let's send her some love, and let's get her on the stage.
I feel like I always have to do this twice. Oh, there we go. Hey,
How are you?
good. How are you? Long time no see.
Good. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me again. I'm super excited for this conversation. I love talking about the problems and challenges.
It is because we all face them, right? And it's just nice. I feel like it's also, I love the show for the fact of it's nice. It makes you reflect back on what happened, because we need that too, to make sure we've actually learned our mistakes, or just reflect back, oh yeah, this happened. Because sometimes projects, especially I know the kind of projects you work on, are much more longer, that I feel that, you may forget the problems that happened in the beginning just because the ones at the end are more fresh. So it's kind of nice to do that recap. But before we get started on the project, let's tell the viewers, who are you, what kind of real estate investor you are, and anything you'd like to share.
So my name is Paulina Bokiej. I'm a real estate agent and real estate investor. We had a couple different types of projects in our belt. We did flips, builds, apartment buildings. So we are right now actually in apartment building space and moving into new builds. I'm a mom of two, have two beautiful kids, Mila and Magnus. It's crazy how they are part of my journey, and my journey becomes their journey at such an early age. The conversation we have around a household, and me and my husband, we're trying to build things together for us, for our family, I think we have a pretty good partnership here, and that's me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And a shout out to Mark Baltasar. Hey, Mark. And so so awesome. So what project are we going to get to talk about today?
So I want to pick first apartment building that we did, because the lessons and surprises we face were really blessing to us. First, believe me, I didn't feel like that. I was like losing my mind at some point. What is happening? Yeah, but it forced me to explore the things, to educate myself. And every other project after that is just so much more easier. And to be honest with you, I already can expect unexpected. Like there's still things that I'm gonna learn. Don't get me wrong, because we learn all our lives, and you don't know everything all the time. It's but I know now that unexpected can happen. Just be ready.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I feel like even like something that you said is like you're getting into development. So that's even a new area. So even as investors, we love leveling up. So as you level up, I mean, new things will always come up. And it's just our tolerance, I think, gets more and more where we know how to deal with problems. So it might be new, but we won't probably stress as much as we did, for example, the very first one. Like I can imagine myself. I remember I used to stress for the most stupidest things when I look back. And it was just because lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. So with this project, so how many units was it? What was the plan? Like, what was the renovations that you were expecting to do? Or if there are any, what was the strategy behind it?
Yes. So it's a sixplex, six unit apartment building. It's on a smaller side because I feel like with the first one, when we as an investor, we're getting into duplex, so stay on the residential side, or commercial financing, you're going to a sixplex. You think if it's gonna play small, it's safer. It's the same process, basically. It's just a matter of different timing and different capital, but the process itself is same. The building is in Kitchener-Waterloo area. That was our first commercial buy. We purchased that a year and a half ago. Actually 2 years ago, and we got it in a pretty, there was multiple offers. We were very lucky to buy it. The buyers, they backed up and we were able to lock it right after. We negotiated really good terms. I think the price per door we got it, it was a really good price. So that's why even right now this project is still a good project. We were able to renovate the whole building, create this beautiful space for the tenants that they can call it home right now, and just improve their living environment.
So was it like a full gut job, like down to the studs, or cosmetic? What kind of renovation would you say this was?
It was first side, one side of the building, it was more cosmetic. We renovate the whole apartments. The other side was a little bit more challenging, because that was the first unexpected. When we opened the walls and we thought that, you know, plumbing is in a good shape, we actually had to work on the plumbing. So what happened? Our budgets changed, even though we are very conservative with our numbers. The renovation budget, we always inflated by certain percentage, trying to say, okay, in the next couple of years, if this is going to happen, and there's big ticket items, you're going to be looking at, so plumbing, maybe roof, maybe furnace. That's all the things you have to put in your numbers. But that job was a little bit more pricey, and that job was more as a gut rental, basically.
And so, okay, so let's start with the beginning number. So what did you purchase the property for?
So the property we purchased at 1.2.
1.2. And then what was your the renovation budget at the beginning when you did your numbers?
At the beginning was 250,000.
Okay, and then how long did you expect it to take? How much? What was like the renovation time frame? Because I'm assuming it's a BRRRR, right? You're planning to refinance it. So how long was that process? You expecting it to be before you could refi?
So this is another surprise.
I love how you're smiling because you're just like, I have some drama to tell you.
Yeah, there's drama in every aspect here. So the project, we first of all, we budgeted at 250,000 cosmetic renovations, improving just the units. We faced the problems with the renovation, so budget increased.
Before we get to the problems though, before we get to the juicy stuff, let's just do like the basic of like what we were expecting it to be. So how long was your expected time frame for it, like to have the renovations done and then to be prepared for refi?
6 months.
6 months. And then
it's supposed to take 12 months with refi.
Okay. And then what were your expected rents? Were you expecting like rents to be at by the time you were done?
So here with the rents, we actually were surprised because, like I said, I'm very conservative with my numbers, and rental market went up, which of course we couldn't plan that, but it happened. So I'm able to actually have a higher rent by $300 to whatever I predicted.
Oh, nice, nice. And so you had the higher rents, and then so were you able to be cash flowing? How much were you say on average was your cash flow, if it
So
was?
when we
Or
purchased the
rent?
building, yes. So when we purchased the building, we were not cash flowing
Mhm.
because it was project. We were still comfortable to get into a project with negative cash flow. However, at this point, the building is fully stabilized. We are looking at cash flow of 3,500.
Oh, nice. Awesome. And so now let's get any other final, I think that was it. And on the refi, were you able to get all your money out or some extra? How did that go?
This building, because of changing and the financial environment, we are still not fully burying the project. We had to financially reposition it with different lenders in the middle of the project, and we're moving with the final refinancing, which will allow us to actually have all our money out.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you're in the middle of actually going through now the refinancing now, is it?
Yes.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Oh, so yeah, I can definitely tell you like this is not the time. I feel like this is like the hard times for anything related to mortgages. So let's get to your top. You wanted to
No,
say
no, go ahead. Sorry.
something? Oh, okay. So let's start with, like you said, the renovation. So there's lots of stuff there. Where do you want to start with? What kind of problems did you encounter?
So first was our renovation budget. I think that the plumbing system that really was for us, like what is happening, this is increasing. Now we start a little bit panicking because we thought we have to do it in the entire building, and which was not the case. It was just depending at the beginning. However, yes, that affect our budget. So we had to address that. In the meantime, we also were improving the power. So we had some delays with the permits, and the cost was a little bit higher too. We had to go back and forth a couple of times with the trade guys, how we can do those things properly with electrician, with all the permits and the fun stuff. And I think also those.
Know what was making the permits delayed? Was it like something specific that happened
No,
or
it's in general, I think the delays is like equal with permits. There's always something, and just improving the drawings or just going between the electricians, like how they can, do the connections. So we got a little bit of delays in that section. However, the electrical side didn't really delay our project because we still were able to do other things. The plumbing, it was the big hit because it actually add more time and add more money to it. Another thing is too that besides the all this renovation process, we are also we had tenants who were saying that they actually already they were saying we're gonna move, so we're counting on the vacancies pretty quickly, which was not the case. So we got another delays, and we're just waiting patiently because we already informed that their plan is to move. And from 12 months, technically we moved to a project of 18 to 24 months.
oh, it's almost 2 years
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, and so that's like you said, that's actually a very good example of because we do. It's funny when or people may even not in bad intentions. For example, like they're gonna say they're gonna move, but then all of a sudden the shock of the prices or not finding the places, then all or just being too busy, all these different things that come up. Was what do you know what was the causes for the delays with the tenants to not moving out? Like was it one of those or something different?
So the cost of the delays, first of all, the cost of carrying the place, because we did have some vacant units. There's still people in the place. So the trade guys were on hold. I wasn't able to complete the renovations because, just the work between the units, it will be just too much. And we were able to work on it. And when you're working with the plumbing, like, you need to have to open the walls. It's not that you're just going to finish this one little piece of pipe and then just change another one. It's a whole work. So we are looking probably around 6 months, 4 to 6 months extra here.
Just the plumbing part, just because of the plumbing.
Not just a bit because of the plumbing, but when you're adding the not having access to the unit, when you're adding the plumbing problems, when you're adding the whole scope of renovations, my projections from 12 months move to 18 months, right? Because we are going to be with this project 2 years. It's going to be exactly in March this coming year. But I'm just saying it went from 12 months to 2 months because also when the refinance will kick in, that's a two-year process.
Yeah, 100%. And it's very true. It's you don't realize, especially when you have many different trades, how, like you said, one can block another, and then it just cascades. Because also it could be, for example, you schedule this one guy to be at this time, but then the delay happens. They have to go on another project. Then also, I don't know if you had this happen, but then you have to wait for their project to finish on another one because you couldn't go at the time that was already scheduled. So it is like renovations can definitely get chaotic. Like once one is down, it's just like trying to get them all going.
And when you have multiple units available right away, that's when the work is efficient because the plumber is going, electrician's going, they finish their work, they have one after another one, and then the rental crew can come in and finish. Where you have one unit here, one unit there, the trade guys are between the jobs, and for example, we got the last unit that we are renovating, and there was 4 or 5 days delays with electrician because he was busy, he couldn't come and finish the job. So the guys who were working more on the cosmetic side, they were just waiting for him. And and this is like, it maybe doesn't sound that much. Well, 2 days here, 3 days there, it's 2, 3, 4 days. But when you're gonna add everything to the project, you can look at the serious delays with it.
100%, completely agree. And now that you're talking about the plumbing issues, what would you do differently from, because I feel like that is one of the hardest things, right? It's like things behind the walls. It is very hard. Like some things, if they're that bad of an issue, you'll see them, like it comes out. Yeah. But other times you can think, oh my God, everything looks amazing, perfect. Did you guys discuss or figure out anything that would help make it so the next time, that this plumbing issue won't happen, or you minimize at least, or like that now, you see a problem and you work on that budget better?
Yes. So when I'm looking at another project, I'm always sending my plumber to the inspection of the piping. It's also sometimes I was actually in a situation, and after that, the insurance also asked me for it on another purchase we had. But we already had that because we were prepared that it maybe something is behind the wall, not right. So he put all the cameras inside and check it, and that's something that we always do right now when we look at the existing apartment buildings, because in the older buildings, like when you look at 90/50, 90/60, there can be so many issues. Most of those buildings are not maintained properly. They are not renovated. They were just simply buy and hold, where someone was buying it, people were renting for years, and the improvements that you should look into every, if it's a 5, 8, 10-year plan, they were never there, right? The owners are usually like, if it's something is not leaking, there's no point checking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. That's an amazing tip, because it's true. A lot of people, I think, they'll like try to save a buck on, for example, the plumber, and like you said, like a building is like, it's a quite expensive problem, right? If it's like, it's not like one unit, it's like it could be 3 or 4 or 6, whatever, however many units, you just never know. So it's like worth it to just get that plumber in to inspect it, so at least you can be like, yes, I can handle it, or like we need to increase the budget or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I love that tip. That's a great tip.
And this this is something that also with this first building, and I'm gonna always bring this building as of my first learning experience. And even though we already had experience with the renovations, with just real estate, we learned so much. But also that particular building push me in a direction where, as an investor, as an investor, we always run the numbers. We have our spreadsheets. I have financial background, so I understand the numbers very well. But it also forced me to educate myself better and have a very deep understanding of not only how to buy buildings. I was extremely lucky that at some point I joined a commercial team with amazing people, amazing investors, and we were able to be coached on financial aspect of apartment buildings. After that, I actually also create my own team, that I have my own preferred lenders as well. And for example, yesterday I went to meet with my lender face to face to discuss changes that are happening in financial world, like how we can analyze those buildings, what is my exit right now, what is the interest rates. Because when we got that building, CMHC wasn't there, and my select program, CMHC was there, and my select program wasn't there. It come in place a couple of months after we purchased this building, so we started exploring it, and we have to see how we can things happen for this property. I'm finding right now there's it's very difficult there right now with the financial aspect, and I talk a lot about the financing, because I believe it's so crucial
100%.
when you invest it. Everyone's talking like, let's just go buy a building. We know what we're doing. 5% down for everything. Unfortunately, it's not that easy as just 5% down. There is a process to it, and there's understanding, and there is some kind of things that you have to know before you even buy the building. So that was the biggest learning experience for me, because it pushed me to learn a lot about the financing, learn more about renovating units where you have actually a couple of apartments and you have families there. It's not just the one house. There is going to be multiple families in the building. How to, the maintenance. As much we're talking about the property management, first we think, oh, I can manage the building, no problem. That's the idea out there, just to maybe with some savings. But property management can help you too, and the questions, the phone calls, the sometimes headaches you can have, it's really not worth your time. You should use your time in the best and highest use, and really use the resources you have around. So I learned a lot with that building, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love that. And you made a really good point of, because you guys, before getting into the multis, you guys were more like flippers, right? That was the transition from flipping to multis. And so even like you were saying, flipping is a completely different beast, even in the renovation sense, like you said, right? You're used to like the houses being empty, you get the whole place, you can do whatever you want to even though like the renovations themselves, like being renovated is the same, but the process can be so much more different, right? Like you're saying, like waiting for tenants to come, trying to coordinate everything. So this is, I think, a great example of what you're saying. It's like you could be in the investing world, but you go into something new, and it is going to make you work hard for it. It's like, it's not this you've been an investor and things are just going to go like that. No, it's like, yes, you go into something new, a new strategy, there's going to be hurdles that you have to go through. So I love that you said that, because it's like we could be investors, but it's like there's always learning. And especially I feel like us as investors, we also love to go bigger, whatever, or learn more. It's just like, I feel like once, I don't know, for me at least, once I like feel like I know everything, I'm like bored. What's new? Let me go learn something else. Let me go see another strategy or something.
I think it's not even being bored. You start being more comfortable in that space. And I have for me right now to look another apartment building, I love it. To be honest with you, I love it. I think it's a great product. It's a great product. And I'm not afraid of the process. I feel like my tolerance increased so much for the things that they can happen during it. But there's other things I want to explore, and the real estate is not only a house, it's not only apartment building. There's so many different aspects in real estate, especially right now in this environment. There's other opportunity coming to the market that you should look into it, because they may work a little bit better. I'm still looking for apartment buildings. Don't get me wrong. I'm still looking at the deals, but I'm also exploring now, going maybe even, I should say, more to the roots, to actually a new development.
Yeah, I hear you. It's true. And I mean, that's the point of even, I feel like being an entrepreneur or being like a successful real estate investor is exactly what you're saying. Like, you want to be able to adapt to the times because, certain strategies may not work or there's just better ones out there. And it's like you have to keep on adapting because, or else, it's done. Like that. A lot of people in these last 2 years are pretty much done because made really bad decisions, got super stressed out because of like things they've done, like so many different things that have just stopped them in their tracks or said like, oh my God, too many problems, never want to do this again. So I think that's a great point that you said that.
Yeah.
Anything else for the renovation side that you wanted to talk about? Or is that we covered it all?
Uh, so, oh, my apology.
No worries.
So with renovation, when it comes to when you're working in this building, I feel like also what we learn about is inspecting the work it's done. Because if something is not done properly on the third floor, will affect your second and the first floor because it can go just down, right? So always inspect the work that your trade guys are doing. Right now, we do have a habit of when we're renovating our apartments, usually it takes, if it's just a cosmetic renovation, takes us 28, 29 days. My husband was able to put a very strong team together. But we go there after the renovation and we do whatever we can. We open everything, we twist everything, we run the water for 15, 20 minutes, fill the taps, let the water run. To see the things, because sometimes those little small things that you're gonna overlook will cause problems, and over time brings you actually extra cost. Very simple example: even if the faucet is not properly, adjusted, the it's not done properly, it's moving, it's not really like, it's not properly done. After some time, you're gonna end up buying a new one or doing some work around. Do you really want to acquire more cost after just doing full renovation of the apartment that you're providing this beautiful place to live, and 6 months down the road you had to spend another, couple of hundred or whatever the work is expected, right? So I think that was a big learning experience. So we did inspect our units, but not at the same level as we do it right now. And that actually comes with every other unit being renovated and facing some issues.
I love that. Is a great point. You do have to do that. This is so true because it's just, when you, like you said, you overlook it, and then, like you said, two, three done, because sometimes it won't take effect immediately. You'll be like, oh, this is a little off, but it's okay. And then you're calling your whoever 3 months later to fix it, and it's just like, why didn't I just get them to do it now when it's already part of the budget? Now it's like you're paying extra.
Yeah.
So that is a great point. It's just like, I think with a building, you just have to, it's, you're doing multiple units. It's like everything needs to be multiplied, It's like you have to make sure everything is working.
It is, but also it's easier work because if you have a strong team, you just basically go in and you're gonna be done very quickly. Everything's happening at the same time. So, even your material, if you don't have place to storage it, like you can just put in the units, right? So you can negotiate with the prices. Like for me, I found someone who's getting me appliances for very good price, but if I'm gonna go order one set, it's a different price than when I'm buying 6 sets at the same time. So from that aspect, it's easier. And what are you doing? You have the same appliances, you have the same the taps, the kitchen, the kitchen is done the same way. So for the work itself, it's actually easier. But yes, it's gonna be more material, you have to put this somewhere, more time to inspect, but the work is just simply, from the trade perspective, is more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if you have like I think the whole unit, the whole building empty. Are you talking in that sense, or even if there aren't all the units empty?
Well, it depends what you're buying and how you have it. What you have in the building, if the work you have to do will need the vacant building because it's not safe to live in. Ideally, you want to have as many units as you can at the same time.
100%. Awesome. And then so now, yeah, what kind of problems have you been going through with the financing? Because this is definitely hard times right now. Things are changing and evolving. Like you said, CMHC, then all of a sudden MLI Select, then no MLI Select. I've been hearing, it's like everything's all over the place for the mortgage side. So what are you seeing over there?
So what I've seen on the financial side, and again, I'm not a mortgage broker, just a real estate agent and investor.
Just
It's
talking about our experiences.
Yes, it's very challenging, because there's new regulations coming to place, and for those who are just basically structuring deal to exit with the CMH CMI Select, they may not be able to actually execute on that, and they may have to wait another year, or they may not get the same qualification. uh, right now, even going more conventionally, it's a little bit more challenging because of interest rates, and interest rates that actually kills the deal. Like, it makes no sense to go just to the bank and finance those deals because you're going to be leaving just simply more money in the deal. But I think, you know what, if your goal is just simply holding this asset, and if your financing doesn't come out the same way you predicted last year or 2 years ago, and you're holding it, it's just different story, because in this, from the investor perspective, you still have access to actually equity you build in the property. Even if to use it to bridge another project, or just to wait extra 2-3 years, you're going to be able to access even more. So it depends how you're structuring. I'm very always conservative with my calculations. CMH CMI Select is not my only exit. I always look at my best, medium, and the best, my worst, medium, and the best scenario.
So
And I'm
important.
trying, yeah, and I'm trying to calculate everything, because for me, the worst case, I shouldn't even say that, actually, the worst case, selling is always an option. You just have to evaluate your deal, what it's worth right now. Do I want to hold this asset because I think there's still potential from the investor perspective, or this is the time to sell and move this money to something else. Selling is always an option, but it's out at the bottom of my options. So when it comes to my refinancing, I am looking still with the CMHC. We have this project for almost a year and a half. Like I said, in February this coming year will be 2 years. So we are in a pretty good position here. The rates are higher, but still you're looking in that space, probably, with the lender spread between 5.5%, which I honestly personally think getting a even 5.5% interest on the commercial side of financing is still not bad, because even if the rates will drop, commercial will never be low. We never will go back to the rates we had last year. Let's just say it that way. We're gonna hit the peak again in the next couple of years, when we're gonna hit another inflation. So economically, we're talking what, 10-15 years maybe. We are not going anywhere at close rates. So even if you're locking those rates a little bit higher than what you think you could get last year, it's still okay, because it's not going to drop to 2-3%.
And even on the commercial side, did the commercial side never dropped to like that 2-3%, did it, or did it? I think like it only did if you were in CMHC, but regular you were always around that level, weren't you?
Last year, we are analyzing the buildings with using the CMHC with 2.53%. And
Really?
there is actually deals you can see that they're selling and they putting as an option that you can assume there's assumable mortgage with
Yeah.
CMHC for the next 7-10 years. Depends how you're structuring. What is the term, 5 or 10 years? If you're using regular CMHC or CMHC Select, and the rates are very low.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, it's all about the numbers. What I learned from this time, actually, to be honest with you, because we were using, we had we have variable mortgages, and what I learned from this time, it's when the mortgage and interest works, lock it in. Why to be greedy and think more?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's gonna drop more. It's gonna be even better. When they were already rates like some people were closing residential 1.5%, 1.7%. That's extremely low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is my personal, just what I learned, and that's what's been my thinking. Oh my God, this is so low. Maybe it's gonna go even lower. Let's just keep it open, and it hit me now. But if the numbers works and it works with the mortgage, works with the cash flow, works from the investment perspective, and potential value or the equity creating and you building over time, if it works, I would just lock it in.
I agree. That's what I ended up doing, and it's very interesting you say that because for me it was kind of the same. Well, especially for the fact of that I love the process of, fixing up the houses, being able to just make them better, the better living spaces or flipping them or whatever. But I don't actually care. I don't like once if it's for example rental properties, it ends up being something that we burn. I don't really want to, I'm not there like looking every day or every month, how much more profit, less or what. I was just like, I just want to know what my profits are so I don't have to look at it because at least for me, the fun part is the actual like finding the building or the house, like actually figuring out how you can make it better, how you can make it work or whatever. So it's also, I feel like in that sense, that's what made me do everything fixed was because I was just kind of like, kind of what you're saying, right? It's just like, what does it really matter? I know I'm cash flowing, everything's good, and am I going to keep my eye on it and pay attention to like, oh my God, I made an extra $2, I don't know, this month. I want like, that's why I'm also a long-term tenant type of person. I know everyone like, there's lots of people that love the Airbnbs or the short term. I like the long term because it's like, once it's done, it's done. I don't want to pay attention to you, I'm like, now I'm on to the next better thing.
Yeah. And what is the difference for the risk you're taking? Because if you're already so low, you can lock it in and you just can, I don't know, hypothetically, let's say you can bring $2,000, or okay, maybe it will drop more. I can bring 2,200, but if it's gonna go up, I'm gonna bring only 500. That's make a huge difference, and that's what I've seen right now. People they were locking those. They didn't lock actually. They have variable mortgages. They were cash flowing so beautifully. And now they're actually getting hit because interest went up, cash flow disappeared. Some of them, they have negative cash flow. The investment becomes a burden, financial burden for the family because now it has to come from my pocket, where also living expenses are like much higher than it used to be, right? So,
Exactly. And where's your focus? Now your focus is on that instead of being able to focus on your next project because it's just
yeah.
like this thing is liquidating you from money and now you're depleting funds that could be going somewhere else.
Exactly, exactly. So I think lesson learned through this time. I personally was never experienced recession like this. The economical change. I've been here since 2010, so I even passed the 2008, and I hear that 2008 wasn't even that bad. Lots of people actually took advantage of 2008, and they are in a very good position right now.
Can
So
imagine.
lessons learned, and I feel like for the next one, I'm gonna be so much more smarter.
Yeah. And isn't that, it's funny you say that because I also feel the same way, same thing. This is my first recession and I kind of just like excited for the next one to come because it's just like I want to put everything I've learned to good use, and it's just like So I'm kind of like excited because you're just starting to understand a lot of how things work and how things will
Yeah.
happen. So I kind of the same. I'm kind of like, bring on the next one because this time I'm like, it's gonna be so much
Yeah.
better.
It's crazy that you said that because I actually couple of days I said that to my husband, like through the pain we're gonna go through now, it's gonna make us so much better and smarter for the next one that we will fully take advantage of it. Even just to
Exactly.
simply try to read where is that peak of the market. If you have the first experience, what happened now, the second one, it's gonna be just more visible to you because yeah, last year we always saying, oh my God, everything is so high, everything is so high. But there are still kind of a thinking it's gonna keep going, it's gonna keep going, and it just simply just went down very quickly. So
Mhm.
I feel like that also help us to read the market more for the next one and be able to take advantage of it and fully just utilize everything that we know.
Exactly. Especially like that. I mean, I know there's lots of people that have been hit really hard and fine, take a break. There's some people like you have to, like I've even taken a break because I've had like stressful times, but don't stop. You know, I'm just like, I was like, you've learned so much from these disasters that happen. It's like, use it for use it. Don't, you know, it's like you learn so much and it's like you discard it. I never want to be a part of real estate again. I'm like, don't do that because it's just like, what's the point of all this knowledge
Yeah.
you've gained? And it's like it's hurt you to the core.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you know those mistakes won't happen again because those are the deep ones. Like those deep ones
Yeah.
are the ones that really will never happen again to you because they hurt like a bit.
Yeah. It is. And I have to tell you what I see right now. Sometimes my blood is boiling because I feel like, and I'm gonna be very honest here. There's so many investor groups. I'm even part of some of them, and the general message out there till this year was get rich quickly, financial freedom, buy real estate, buy. Lots of people come to the real estate without any experience. Some other investors were putting the deals together without experience, without even fully trying to explore things and educate themselves. And I feel like there's so many people getting burnt right now because they trusted. And I'm not saying that was done on purpose. Don't get me wrong. People just were just get into that hype. They want to join the ride and just buy this real estate.
Excitement.
It was
Yeah.
excitement when why if this person's doing this, why I can't do it? It's just like, and money was cheap. Literally, money was like for free. So that's why we had this huge demand. Everyone's buying. Everyone was investor, and now I see lots of pain. I do see deals are not doing the way it should be. People are struggling. People are in a really bad financial situations, and I still, for example, see another part of that where people putting deals together with investor and over promising, and I know they will under deliver in certain aspects because they don't really fully understand, let's say, the aspect of the financing,
Mhm.
or what is the options with those tenancies, what it's like. There's so many things, and I feel once you're gonna go through some projects, it's just gives you a little bit more knowledge what kind of questions you should ask, because this is the
Mhm.
problem. Sometimes we don't know what is the right question and what to ask.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I feel like that's always the best. I feel like that's also a really good learning curve is like that you will do things, you do your first project, and then afterwards you're like, why didn't I ask this? Why didn't I ask that? Why didn't I ask this person this? I should have got more information about that, and it's again those things that you learn. It's just like take advantage of all
Yeah.
the knowledge you've gotten from these. Like, yes, things hurt a lot, but take your break, relax about it, decompress, and get back out there. It could be a year, like take a break. Like no one's telling you to go out tomorrow and
Yeah.
get things done, but take advantage of all that experience, I say. And
100%.
I know you're saying the same thing.
100%. It's not that you have to buy all the time, partner up all the time, have the project all the time. You need a break, you're struggling. Reverse, take 2 steps back. see what you can improve, what you should do, how you should do things, and also still be open-minded, because as much as I see lots of investors struggling, lots of home buyers are struggling, right? But I do see, and I see this market as a market of opportunity. So now it's basically the time. Take advantage, take the risk. It may work very well for you. It may not work as well. Of course, you need to see if you have still capacity of doing things, and you just have to minimize your risk by, properly analyzing, properly structuring, bringing proper people to the deal, and many, many other things. But I see this market as a market of a big opportunity. We see what is happening with the prices. We see where is the demand. The generation is changing too. It's not affordable, it's also different generation. I feel like my kids will be the generations basically of rentals, because the younger one, they want to have a freedom of traveling. They want to go for a year to Thailand or Australia, or work for a little bit, make some money, move between the places, explore, experience. So I think this is the market actually of lots of opportunity, and we still have to be open-minded to it.
100%. And I feel like we got a little off track, but I did want to actually talk to you about, because I remember you said that, because you've already done a refinance, and then now it's like the one that you're coming to soon, that's going to be like the real one. So what happened in the first one for you to need to go through a refinance?
So the first one is because this building, we got it before the whole CMHC MI Select program. We had a private lender on that property, and it was not fully recognized lender with the CMHC. So we have to reposition with another lender that has already established lender, and we were making sure that from the financial perspective, from like how we purchase it, we can still refinance. That's why I said, like, when you exit a CMHC, you need to know how you're gonna even buy the building. But we are able to actually work that within a good time frame. It didn't really affect us that much, so that was the reason why we had to go through the first one. We repositioned the building for the first time after first 12 months.
Okay, so that one was just to make sure you had a lender that was CMHC compliant. Did you also refi? Were you able to still take out some extra money, or was it just a full replacement, just only replacing the previous lender?
No, just there was a little bit of money, but that money was it was committed to the renovation, so there wasn't any full equity takeout. It was just the money back in real estate.
Yeah. Oh, so but you did take out some then to like pay back the renovations, or basically probably use it to continue.
Yes.
And then and then so this next refi is just to add on the CMHC portion, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then
So
we
aiming for the CMHC portion here for the MI Select. So we're just waiting for decision and see what's gonna happen.
Okay, and then so for that, because I don't actually know much about that, like for adding CMHC Select again, are you able to take out again equity at that side, or it's just to help with the payments and the interest to go down?
Yeah. Still, we will be able, because when we first repositioned the building, it was in the middle of the renovations. We still had vacant units. So now the building is fully stabilized. We have everything is renovated. It's renovated with the energy efficient side, and now we have a fully occupied building and with amazing tenants. And now we are able just to take it back.
Awesome. So you are going to be able to pull out then the money. So you're going to be going, oh, that's amazing. So I didn't know you could do that.
That's the plan. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to keep it here, but that's the plan.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't fully sure how that worked with CMHC. So it's nice that you still be able to do like the next refi and just pull out some money.
Because
That's
you're able to
awesome.
build that equity, right?
Yeah,
And as much as the equity is there, you increase the value of the building, the value is there, right? So
yeah. Yeah, which makes sense. That's awesome. Anything else that you'd like to share about the project or any final recaps about it?
uh, I will, the only thing what I want to share is, real estate is not a very quick process. You need to have also nerves to it for that, because there's gonna be always something. If someone's gonna tell me I had no problems whatsoever, everything went so smooth, on time, within budget, I'm gonna call it a lie. And
Like I'm gonna go running that
yeah,
way.
we going that person's going this way, I'm going that way. There's always something, but if you are, conservative enough, you can see things, and it's more, you have a plan to it, you have a structure it can be very profitable over the years. And then just simply understanding of real estate is not to get rich quickly. It is a process. The real benefits from real estate, if you have a buy and hold, you're going to be looking probably 5 to 10 years. Of course, I'm skipping some projects, like when you have a flip here and there for the cash, it's a different story. But if it's buy and hold, the more you hold, the more you have it, the bigger returns you're going to have. Um, and get, just if you're getting into investment, please take time and pick the right people and explore what is out there and educate yourself. So it's just gonna be so much easier for you to go through the process. And even if you're gonna have unexpected things, it's just gonna be easier to tackle it, basically.
I love that. Great advice. And I think actually, like you're saying, right now is even, I think, the best time to be doing that, because we're not at the times where it's like you can't do conditions, because that should have been like that for people that were more experienced to go in with no conditions because they had their process in place to be able to do that. Right now, it's like you can actually learn, you can actually take your time, and you can actually do things without that pressure, because I felt like there was lots of pressure in COVID times, because it's like if you weren't quick or if you weren't pricing high enough or whatever, you were losing things left, right, and center. And if you didn't know what you were doing and you were just going with the hype,
Yeah.
that could have been very
Yeah.
detrimental to you. So I love that you gave that advice, because same thing. And I think like that, like if you're new, get into it right now. I think start learning, start seeing, because you can have the time to actually do it at your own pace and not be stressing with the pressures of like just everything going crazy in the
Yeah.
market. Thank you so
And,
much.
and just
Great.
take your time. Sorry, I just one more thing from the
Yeah.
agent perspective. Just take your time for the due diligence, because, like you said, now you put the conditions. My last offer was 2 pages, and they will consider it. So take your time for the due diligence. I feel the pressure right now is to get for the best price, because that's where the best deals are, when you're buying for the lowest price.
Mm-hmm. Paulina, thank you so much for coming on. It's always so fun to chat with you. If you guys love what you heard from her, she's going to be tagged on here, so you'll be able to follow her and you're going to be able to see what she's up to. And if you guys love my shows, then definitely come on, follow me also, and you can see when the next shows are coming up. Thank you so much, Paulina.
Thank
It
you
was so much fun to chat
so
with
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye, everyone.